Hi everyone, welcome to the Native American and Indigenous student webinar. We're going to be talking a little bit about the experiences that our students have here and some of the different clubs, organizations that we have on campus. We also have some wonderful ASA members here, so they are going to chime in at any time if they want to add anything or talk a little bit more about any of the points here on these slides. So, Native student life on campus. To start off, we are a very small community here, but we are mighty. So about 1% of students UC-wide identify as Indigenous or Native American. And what that means for us is that we have a very close-knit community here of individuals who really care for and love one another and look out for each other's well-being. So we have a lot of different events that we do that we like to celebrate our community and just be in community with one another. There are some photos here from events that we have throughout the year that I'm going to talk about. So here are some of the annual events. The first one is our Harvest Dinner. That's a really fun event that we have every year. I believe next year will actually be the 45th Harvest Dinner. Is that right? Yeah, I think the 45th Harvest Dinner. And it's a time for us to all get together and to celebrate our local Indigenous community that we have here, not just our students, but our community members as well. So the Harvest Dinner is a really great time for us to get together and do that. This photo down here in the bottom right-hand corner is actually from this year's 44th Annual Harvest Dinner. And we have a silent auction, and we have our wonderful Chumash family singers who come out and sing for us and bring their tomol, their canoe. And so it's a really great time for all of us to be together and be in community. Another one is our Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. Another photo of that one right over here in the middle. Again, just a time for us to get together, celebrate one another. We got really cool t-shirts this year. And we usually have food catered, and that's open to students, community members, pretty much everybody. We also have a symposium where we have different Native researchers and professors from all across the world, really, in the country, get together and present their research, talk about issues that are important to them. We also have community members who will lead panels and workshops, and it's a great time for students to get experience speaking in front of crowds as well. We have something called NED Talks, which I'll talk about a little later. We also have stands, which is a one-day conference that we have here for our Native high school students, and it stands for Students Taking Actions for Native Dreams of Success. And so that is something we do to outreach to our students as early as high school, and we do have some members of ASA now who started with our organization back through stands when they were in high school. So it's really great to see them go from being a stands member to being an ASA member where they are now. We also do hikes. We go to quite a bit of powwows. This photo that you see over here, this is all of us headed back from the Bay Area Intertribal TwoSpirit powwow that we attended just a couple months ago. There's also a Sani Nez Chumash powwow that happens here every year that we attend as well, usually annually. And so great opportunities to get involved not only with other ASA members, but with the community as well. And then we have some fun photos over here of us going canoeing, meeting Joy Harjo, the first ever Native American U.S. Poet Laureate, and lots of other cool things that we do. Next. Resources. So we do have some resources here for our Native students that I want to point out. The first one is our American Indian Cultural Resource Center. This is definitely one of my favorite spots on campus. It's just a space where we can go and just be in community, be ourselves, surrounded by other ASA members and people who we know are going to be there to support us. It's a good spot to study. We have food there for our ASA members, and that's where we have a lot of our events and programming that go on as well. In this photo, you see Yaika, Luther, and Lupe, who are part of the Educational Opportunity Program, which serves our first-gen and low-income students in particular. And Luther specifically runs the American Indian Cultural Resource Center, and then Yaika and Lupe are the peer mentors for the American Indian Cultural Resource Center. And so they're a lot of the ones at the head of doing this really cool programming and engaging the student body and the community in fun events for all of us. And they do a lot of the coordinating there. They have office hours in the AICRC, and EOP as a whole works with, like I said, different varieties and groups of students, usually first gen, low income, marginalized student groups, on anything from academics to personal struggles that you're going through, cultural struggles, whatever it may be. Like for me personally, I'm thinking about applying to grad school, and so I've sat down with Luther and just researched different programs that might be a good fit for me. They're really there to support students with whatever it is you need, and Luther in particular is a great resource for our Native students here on campus. Alrighty, next we have some different Native student organizations. So as you can see, there are a lot here, and most of them kind of fall under the umbrella of ASA, which is the American Indian Student Association here. But based on what it is you're interested in, you can join different like subgroups and organizations that we have here. So for example, the Garden Alliance, you can see that photo on the left, some of our awesome members. Sarah is one of them. The gardening, we have a couple different gardens that we manage here on campus. We grow different native foods in them. We have really great folks from the coastal band here who help us with that and teaching us, you know, what foods are indigenous to this place and what will grow well, what we should be growing, different medicines. And so we're very thankful to have them here. We also have the Arts Collaborative. To give you an example of that, we have beading circles, usually like once a week, where everyone will get together and they'll practice, you know, arts that they're passionate about. We'll make beadwork, jewelry, different things like that. Like I mentioned, we have stands. That photo on the left there is of stands a couple years back, and you can see they're all wearing their cool stands t-shirts. A newer one that we have is the Native American and Indigenous TwoSpirit Alliance, and you can see that's the TwoSpirit flag there on the left. So we want to make sure that this is an inclusive space for all of our different Native students who identify as TwoSpirit or LGBTQ+, because there is a really great supportive LGBTQ+ community here on campus, but we also want to make sure we're, you know, being mindful of the different intersections there. So being Native and being LGBTQ+, we want to have those spaces for our students to feel valued and welcomed as well. Yeah. Another point I wanted to touch on was leadership and activism. So one of the things that I really love about UCSB is that within ASA, I'm always encouraged to speak my mind, and talk about the things going on here on campus. I'm not going to tell you that it's the most wonderful, supportive, incredible campus in the world, because there are a lot of challenges and microaggressions that our students face, not only here, but UC and university-wide. The Indigenous community suffers from a crisis of invisibility. We aren't seen on college campuses, and that can be very isolating. So being a part of ASA has given me an opportunity to find my community and find those people who are going to uplift and celebrate my voice, and who are going to want to speak out with me on these issues that are important to us. So me and Mikayla, who's on the bottom right with the yellow shirt, we made this poster about the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis, and more generally the missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis, to talk about an issue that we feel is really important. And we had a huge outpouring of support from the other ASA members who came and tabled with us. Not all of them are pictured here in this photo, but they're always there to help us, you know, organize events about things we're passionate about. And it's definitely not just this. There's been a lot of things that our students have done who are part of ASA, and our community members as well, to showcase the resiliency of our community and just the activism and the leadership roles that we try and take on. Yeah. Next one is student research. So this is a part of the symposium that I was talking about earlier. Being a research institution, research is built into a lot of our curriculum here at UCSB. And for Native students in particular, a cool opportunity we get to explore that is NED Talks. So those are kind of a play on TED Talks, but Native version. And we have it at our symposium. So this is an opportunity for our students to talk about issues going on in Indian country, things they're passionate about. For me personally, I use it as an opportunity to share some of the research I've been doing into Native American representation in news media. So we get a really great opportunity there to showcase some of these things that we have been working on. And the symposium in general is just a great spot, a great event that we have to get students, you know, really thinking about what research looks like to them, and if they want to, you know, pursue a career in academia or anything like that. So that's a really cool aspect of it. And then lastly, I just wanted to showcase a little why ASA. So we have 3 ASA members here, Desmond, Katie, and Gabe. And I'm not going to read these to you. You can read them on their own, but just some little blurbs about why they chose ASA.
Cuties.
Alrighty. And yeah, that's pretty much it. ASA for life. Did y'all have anything you want to add about anything I've talked about so far? Or maybe questions you want to answer for students?
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, I have been here, this is my 4th year. I'm getting ready to graduate, and I've been involved in ASA since my freshman year. And I don't know how my college experience could have ever gone without having this community. It's been there to help me not only navigate understanding who I am and my identity, but also just navigate life, like they're always there. They're always there for you. And it's more of a community, a family to support each other. No matter what background you come from, no matter, where you lie, we're here to support each other. And I think it's really a beautiful experience. And I also like that you have been pretty honest about how there are a lot of challenges here on campus. It can be very difficult. There's a lot of challenges for a lot of people, POC, different marginalized communities that we're facing. And I think having this space for us is really incredible, but also from being in this group specifically, like I've gone and done lobbying with different ASA folks, or I went to the UC Regents meetings to try to fight against TNT. And whenever we would go, we would see all kinds of other groups to support us there as well, and we support them in return, like with the cola strikes, with the what was the other movement that was going around? Blank in my mind, but it's always really beautiful because there's always people coming together and supporting each other. And I think it's an incredible opportunity, especially when you are an Indigenous person and you have a lot of different perspectives and experiences coming in. And a lot of times you're trying to fit this mold of a Western institution. So having people who understand and who come from the same experiences or same perspectives, it really, really makes a difference. And I'm really excited seeing how well it's helped with retention and graduation rates as well. Like for sure, I know if this community wasn't here, a lot of our students wouldn't make it, me personally. So I'm forever grateful for this family, and I love all you guys so much. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Thanks, Sarah. Also, do you want to introduce yourself too? I can go around and ask for everyone to introduce themselves if that's okay. Yeah. So do you want to go first, Sarah?
I think Mia should go first.
Mia, yeah.
Haku, Mia Kakti. My name is Mia, and I am our tribal liaison, our community liaison with UCSB, ASA, and my tribe, the Coastal Band of the Chumash Nation. And I just want to say that we are here to welcome you here, to do good work, to support you here while you're here, to give you community, to participate however you would like to do that. We do a lot of community functions with my family, with our Tomo, down in Malibu at our village, on campus, off campus. And for me, it's been a really huge honor to be able to be part of the ASA family. And I know that a few things that have come up that are outside the normal of academics has been, when you're feeling down, maybe you just need someone to talk to, maybe you just need a moment to sing, maybe you just want to go sit at the beach. Like, those are the places that I hope that we can help fill in those missing gaps for our Native students, just to bring that cultural light back to you, because I know some of you feel far away from your homes, and I just want you to know that when you're here in our home, you're part of our family. And so it's really important to me to help keep you guys connected and just support and love you in any way that we can. And this year, I'm really excited. I know that our big time gathering got postponed this year. Hopefully we'll be able to do it in the fall. But my tribal council is really excited to be part of that and come out and meet all the students. We've just had a big change in our structure, and so all of those people are now very close. to Santa Barbara and not in our extended communities. So, I'm excited to bring more of our tribal community to you as well, and be, just to make our family bigger and tighter. And so that's who I am and what I'm doing here. And welcome. Kaschokap Kumuli. I'm so glad you've arrived to our territories. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mia. Does anyone want to go next?
I feel like I've talked a lot, so I want to.
That's okay. You can go.
Bonjour, Indigenous Sarah. I am from the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians. So that's Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, and also Michigan. It's kind of weird. We're specifically in Michigan, but the way that our tribe is located, it's kind of split across Canada and like Minnesota, Michigan, kind of upper Midwest kind of area, but a little far away, yeah, for sure. But I was born and raised in California, so I've always had a really close-knit community with local tribes. And coming to ASA on campus and being welcomed by Mia and your family, like it was such an incredible feeling. And it really does make you feel like you have more of that space. It kind of helps you work through that imposter syndrome that a lot of us get when we come to these campuses. Like I said earlier, I'm a fourth-year student. I'm environmental studies student with a minor in American Indian Indigenous Studies, which is one of the programs that we try to help promote and implement here through ASA as well. But I think it's been a really incredible opportunity for me because there's so many resources here on campus, but also because Santa Barbara and its history with environmental studies being such a more affluent white discipline, and having more of this westernized perspective to it, I think it's been a really awesome experience of being able to have my emphasis and bring the knowledge of my ancestors into my discipline. And even though a lot of times there's a lot of challenges in the university with welcoming Indigenous knowledge and welcoming our perspectives, for the most part, I've had a really good experience, especially having the support from ASA to really implement, like you said, our voices, our knowledge, that we are validated and that we have a lot of wisdom that we carry, not only from our own experiences, but from our elders, our ancestors. So this space on campus, like I said, I couldn't reiterate it even more. Like I don't know what my college experience would have been like without this community, and it's really opened so many doors, and I'm forever appreciative.
Esme, you're next on my screen. Do you want to go next?
Hi, I am Esme Aishibe, AIA pronouns. I'm a first-year transfer, so this is my third year officially with the school. I'm a political science sociology double major with intent in tripling in history. I am Taino Wayu, Taino people from the Caribbean, specifically Puerto Rico, and Wayu people from northern South America, so bordering Colombia and northern Venezuela. Yeah, it's my first year with the school, so I'm also new to ASA, but thus far I've really enjoyed it. I've really loved what it's been able to offer me, because since I am far from my ancestral homes, it's not very often that I get to see someone else who shares my tribal affiliation. So meeting Yaika, I was like, hello mother. But yeah, it's benefited me a lot by providing a community that I don't often get to have.
Thank you. Gabe, do you want to go last?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Gabe. I'm a third-year poli-sci major with a minor in American Indian Indigenous Studies. I am half Pascua Yaqui from my dad's side, and our tribe is located in Tucson, Arizona, and in northern Mexico in the state of Sonora. So kind of far from home too, since I was born and raised in California. This is my first year in ASA as well, and I think it has been the best time that I've had it with a group of people on campus. ASA has always been a place that I could go to and vent. I tend to send a lot of things in the group chats about things that irritate me, and trying to get other people's perspective to make sure that I'm not crazy or tripping about classes, because I think specifically for me, in terms of being in the poli-sci department here, it's super like 98% whitewashed and it's very pro-American imperialism and colonization in terms of like how legislation and policies within not only our country but in other countries that have affected indigenous populations, and that's kind of the thing that I focus on within the major, in the comparative politics aspect. So it's cool to get other people's perspectives, and especially getting to learn about other people's tribal affiliations and tribal cultures. And I was lucky enough to join ASA in the fall and get to meet Desmond and Day, who are also part of my tribe. So that was pretty cool, representing for the Yaqui people. So yeah, it's been just it's been something that has been integral to my college experience that I didn't know I was missing in the first part of it. So it's been really cool. You know, I got to do the NED talk and like be a part of that, the symposium, and just, you know, it's just cool to like know people that have experienced what you've gone through and just to know that you're not entirely alone.
I remember when I first met you, it was actually when I had the Missing Women in Indigenous, well, I can't say the whole acronym, my words. But I had held something similar to you, Mikayla. I don't even remember how long ago, but you would come up and you're like, what is this? What is this? And we're like, oh, we're from ASA. And you're like, ASA? And you were like so surprised that there was an actual community here, and you were so excited. And it was like, those kinds of experiences, when people realize that these spaces are available to them, like that was, I don't know why I still remember that, but like I can remember your face. You're like, no way.
Yeah, it's
really
just
cool.
so crazy because like you go to instance, like especially like growing up in a community that was the smallest population of native people. You know, we had like tribal reservations with like casinos and stuff, but no one sees the culture behind it. They just see casino money, you know, gambling, stuff like that. And always being like, in particularly with my tribe, we had to assimilate to Mexican culture to like kind of free ourselves, so to speak, which is like a bad way to say it. So I've always been, you know, identifying as Mexican, so to speak, with other people, because I don't want to have to explain myself that, oh yeah, I am also Mexican because my tribe is indigenous to both this land and back in Mexico. And so when I found Yaika found me through Twitter because it was something about Halloween. I was like, I swear if I see somebody, you know, wearing some sexy Indian costume, I'm gonna scream. And then Yaika was like, wait, what? And then that's when Yaika added me to the group chat, and I was like, I said, what did I say? I said the 1% are linking up or something like that. And then we just been rolling with it ever since.
I remember that. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, time flies. I realized I never introduced myself at the beginning of this whole thing. I'm sorry, I'm not good at those. Tagote, everyone. She Mikayla Gonce. Hi, my name is Mikayla. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a junior here at UCSB, double majoring in communication and sociology. I'm Lipan Apache on my mom's side and Lemhi Shoshone on my dad's side, but I consider home to be my tribal lands. We're from San Benito, Texas, and our tribal lands span from lower Texas to some of the upper states of Mexico. So Gabe, I resonate with that about being indigenous to what is now America and also indigenous to what is now Mexico, and that duality of being Mexican American but also being Native American. So I feel ya. And now I'm in occupied Kumeyaay territory in San Diego, California. So I'm not super far away from that home, but I do feel, you know, separated from my tribe and my community in the same way that a lot of our students feel that. So like everyone else has been saying, ASA has really been a home for me that I didn't know I needed and that I didn't know I was missing until I found it. And I was like mind blown. There are other students like me who, you know, share my passions and who understand like these microaggressions that we face sometimes, and just the frustrations of being at a colonized, very white institution, while also trying to, you know, make your ancestors proud and get this education and do all these things for your community. And so I'm very thankful to have ASA and to have this community and to have Mia and her family who have just so amazingly and wholeheartedly welcomed us into this community. Like I remember the first time, like we really had a conversation, Mia, and we sat down and you were saying, you know, all these things about, you know, this being like a second home for us. And you're like, I'm going to be your Santa Barbara mom. And I just started crying. I was like, it meant so much to me to have that outpouring of love and support. And you know, that community so far away from my home and my community. I also don't know where I would be without ASA. It's just, my best friends are in ASA. It's what I look forward to every single week, even though now we are virtual, we are on Zoom. I still look forward to it. It's like when I walk in the AICRC, it's just that big sigh of relief. You feel like you're in your home away from home. And so this is a project that I've kind of taken on this year, like working with admissions to let other incoming students know that this is a place where they can thrive and they can find community and really feel, you know, wholeheartedly welcomed. We will welcome anyone, regardless of how much you know about your community, what your background is, whether you just want to learn how to be an ally. Like, we want to be, it's never been our people's way to turn others away and to say you're not enough, or to, you know, gatekeep for anyone. So I just want to reiterate what a supportive and loving community this is, and how it's really like enabled me to thrive here at UCSB. So that's what I had to say. Thanks, y'all. Yeah. Does anyone want to say
Maybe
anything?
we discussed like the TwoSpirit experience on campus.
Yes. Do you like to start? Do you want me to start?
Either or, up to you. So like, obviously I'm a very visibly queer person on this campus. So that's been a very interesting experience. This is a very tough administration to coexist with. I don't really want to sugarcoat the experience of like being queer, being trans, being Two-Spirit on a campus, but like it is pretty at times antagonistic, especially like when election seasons come up for this school, and suddenly it's no longer cool to be an ally for its queer and trans and Indigenous folk. But I think understanding like the queer community, especially like the queer and trans POC community on this campus, is really strong. I say that as like the co-chair of the largest cutie POC org on campus. So there's definitely support mechanisms for y'all outside of like very specific friend groups. There's also the RCSGD, which is like a very amazing resource. They can offer you anything from like food support to meal stipends to like mini grants, anywhere from like $10 to $100 based on need and what it's for, especially if you're looking to do like legal name changes or change of residency, ID work. They can help support you in that, as well as the cutie POC orgs on campus do support y'all in the ways that we can. So like my org in particular, La Familia de Colores, we offer a cutie POC emergency fund in which we can give out micro grants of $20 up to $150 based on need. And we also offer a transitional fund in which for Two-Spirit trans non-binary folk, we can reward up to $200 for anything in terms of social, medical, legal transitions. And that's my little spiel.
I'm so sorry. My mom came in for a second, but she says hi to everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Sarah's mom. Yeah.
By the way, that I know that it can be very difficult and it's very painful at times. So I really appreciate that you were able to share that too.
Yeah. I wanted to reiterate that everything Esme was saying, I think it's important that we're really honest about our experiences here. And for me, being Two-Spirit is not always something that I was super comfortable talking about and embracing in front of a lot of folks, because I would tell them that I wasn't, and be like, what's that? What do you mean? Like, I would be asked to constantly have to do that educating. And I feel like if you're paying so much money to go to a university, sometimes you don't want to educate. Like, and that's why ASA and the Two-Spirit Alliance that we recently made this year has been a space for me where I feel like I can go in and I don't have to explain to people. I'm just accepted wholeheartedly, you know, for who I am, the fact that I am, you know, multicultural, and to some people I am like white passing and I'm also straight passing. And so being, you know, taken in for who I am and not having to like compromise or explain or anything like that has been really wonderful. And the RCSGD is also a really great space. I've attended a few of their different trainings and workshops, and I also work at the Multicultural Center, or the MCC, we call it for short. And I've always felt like in those spaces in particular, surrounded by other queer people of color or queer Indigenous folks in particular, is where I feel like the most comfortable and the most value for like who I am as an individual. And so yes, it is tough. I mean, we're in Santa Barbara. It is, you know, historically a very white, straight community. But I think it just speaks to our resiliency again, that we've, you know, taken this institution that wasn't created for us or our people at all, and we have carved out those spaces in such a powerful way to let people know, like, we're here, you're not getting rid of us, like, we're strong, we're resilient, and we're gonna talk about, you know, these things until you recognize us and you give us, you know, what is due and what is fair. And so I think being a part of the TwoSpirit Alliance has helped me come into that identity fully and to like be proud of who I am. And when people are like, what's that? I'm just like, you can Google it. I'm not your like native dictionary. And just feeling that like empowered to be able to speak about who I am unapologetically has just been a really awesome thing that I'm very thankful for. And so
yeah, I just want to add something. I think that just goes to like the versatility of our organization, that so many of us are in different facets of like school and life in terms of like what we represent and like what we're a part of. And I love that you guys brought that up, because it shows that not only are we collectively a part of this together, but we all are a part of different other things as well too. Like personally, I work for Associated Students. I work in the program board, so we host events and stuff like that. And in particularly with my position, I was able to like, you know, be culturally broad about the things that I do, and then it's just really cool.
For me too, at the MCC, there, I think I'm like one of two, or maybe the only Indigenous person working there, and they've still given me a lot of encouragement to.
Yeah.
You know, I run the social media, so posting about things that are relevant and important, like when the census was going on, or on like a day of awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people, like posting about these things that are relevant to Indian country to bring that awareness. So in those spaces, I've always felt very encouraged to, you know, talk about my indigeneity in a way that doesn't feel like I'm being tokenized. Definitely felt tokenized in some cases, but that's not one of them. And whenever you're having like a bad day or if something like that does happen, I can't tell you how many times I've come to ASA and I've just been like, y'all will not believe what this professor did today. You will not believe what I saw.
So many times.
Yeah, it's communal care to have those people there who will, you know, rant with you and listen to you and just make you feel really valid. So yeah, that's
we all come together, like you said, we all come together from all these different perspectives and experiences, and I feel like I've been reflecting on all the different programs and workshops, all these things that we've been able to do with ASA, and all of that was like all of us students doing things as a community. And I think that's what's really unique and special about this is, you know, like you were saying, Mikayla, like this university wasn't really created for us. You know, we weren't supposed to be here today. Like we weren't supposed to exist. So we are like a problem to them, you know? So for us, whenever we need something or we see something that's important that needs to happen, we come together and we make it happen. And I think that's so awesome. And it's giving us a lot of skills for the real world too. So when we go out and graduate, we can continue uplifting our communities and raising our voices. So I think it's really beautiful and powerful.
Last thing I wanted to say is if you're an ASA, you're an ASA for life. We love our alums. This is a lifelong thing. It's basically a native sorority or fraternity, but without all that you know, extra stuff that comes with sororities and fraternities. And if you're in a sorority fraternity, no hate. But
culturally based sororities and fraternities. I'm from culturally based Greek life, which is really awesome, and it's worked really well with supporting ASA and other communities. So that's something else that's really cool. But you do bring up a good point. There are a lot of problems, but yes, this is a lifetime support, lifetime family.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I meant. Thank you for clarifying.
No problem.
I also like how you brought up, Sarah, that when we see that there's a problem, we act on it, and especially with our current like project that we've been kind of co-associated with the Mauna Kea, and like, you know, holding the UC accountable for its partake in this degradation of land and, you know, erasure of indigenous cultures in Hawaii and stuff like that. So I think that was like one of the things when I first joined ASA, that was like kind of the starting part. They were like, we need to rally together and like go against the UC. And I was like, yes, revolution. I was like, this is what I'm here for.
Does anyone else have anything they want to say or add before we end the recording? All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone. I hope all of you students out there found this helpful. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to ASA. We have a social media we have a social media. We have social media. You can follow us at UCSB ASA on Instagram and on Facebook, we're American Indian Student Association of UCSB. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Bye.